Hello and welcome to WTF, where we help you transform food in your kitchen. I'm Janie.
And I'm Roman.
And on this channel, we talk about unique ingredients, techniques, and show you new recipes for your kitchen. And today is no exception. We are showing you an elevated version of a classic Italian dish called Vitello Tonnato, which is veal wrapping tuna. And I will admit, I had never heard of this, so when Roman brought it to my attention, I was like, I don't know, veal and tuna together, is that going to be good? But of course, he showed me that it was. So today we're going to share this recipe with you and how you can easily make this at home. All right, so Roman, let's first talk about Vitello Tonnato. What is it and how do you make one?
So Vitello Tonnato is a Italian dish, kind of obscure, it's not like a Parmesan or anything like that. But it's a combination of veal and tuna. The first time I had it, they make it in various different ways. Sometimes you'll cook the veal and you make a tuna puree, or sometimes you'll just cook both of them together and you just arrange them on a plate, whatever it is. The crux of it is veal and tuna together. Always something that I liked or disliked depending on how it was made. If it was a tuna puree, gross. I didn't like it. It just wasn't for me.
Sounds nasty.
Yeah, it does. But I've had versions of it that was actually very good. So in this, I wanted to make a version that was more significant of what we do here at the Modernist Pantry, which is elevate the food that we create. And so I came up with this little Vitello Tonnato dish that I think you guys will love.
All right, let's get into it. What do we do first?
All right, so the first thing we want to do is we want to make the veal and the tuna roulade, which what I'm going to do is I have a veal leg that I pounded out, and I have a nice cut piece of tuna here. And so what I'm going to do is I am going to take this veal off, and we're just going to put it right here on this cutting board that's lined with a piece of plastic film. And then I have over here some moo glue, which, as you know, is an enzyme that's going to help fuse these two proteins together. All right, so first thing we'll do is we'll add some of this.
Yeah, I wonder how they did it, in the classic version where they didn't use meat glue. How do they get it to stick together?
Well, because there's so many different variations of it, a lot of times they didn't really. This is the first time I've actually seen. I've never seen anybody do this, to actually fuse the two meats together. I've always seen them on a plate together, but never quite this way.
Cool.
So this is new to me. If anybody's seen anything like this, let us know in the comments. I'd love to know. As far as I know, I've never seen it. All right, so it's a little moo glue. We're gonna also add a little bit of moo glue to the tuna, and then we're gonna put this right here, a little off, and then we're just gonna roll that into a nice roulade. And pinch the ends of this, get a nice seal. And then we're gonna refrigerate this for 24 hours. So we'll get a nice seal, and then in the meantime, we'll come back, we'll make our caper butter sauce, and then we'll sear our roulade.
All right, we'll be right back.
All right, so we're back. We're gonna make the caper butter sauce for our Vitello Tonnato. Vitello Tonnato's in the fridge right now, sealing itself together. So we're gonna make the sauce, and then we're gonna bring that veal out, and we're gonna sear it, and we're gonna put it all together to make this wonderful dish for you. All right, so first thing we're gonna do is get a little bit of oil in our pan. We have the heat medium low. We're gonna sweat our shallots. All right, you just want to sweat these out. You don't want to cook them too hard. You don't want to put too much color on them. So we're just gonna cook them on this low for about 3 to 4 minutes. All right, so sweating for a little bit. I'm gonna go ahead and add my white wine. We're gonna turn this up all the way to a boil, and then we're gonna reduce that down until it's completely dry.
Okay.
All right, now that we have this white wine completely dry, as you can see, it's almost completely gone, we're gonna add our water to this. And what you wanna do is you just wanna bring this up to a low simmer. You just wanna heat the water up. You don't, you really don't wanna.
We're not boiling.
Yeah, we're not boiling it because we don't wanna lose any of the we don't want it to evaporate. We don't want to lose any of the water. So we're just going to bring it up to a simmer. Just warm enough so that we could then emulsify that butter into the sauce with the rest of our ingredients. I think that's warm enough. We're going to add that to our blender. And we're going to turn that up to a medium speed. And we're going to slowly add our butter in, a couple of cubes at a time. Oh. All right, so now we're going to combine our salt and our xanthan gum.
All right, and what's the xanthan gum doing in the sauce?
And so the xanthan gum is going to work as a stabilizer. So that's going to keep that together. So whether we heat it up, cool it back down, and then bring it back up, it's never going to break. As you can see, it's starting to set itself up. So we're going to let that go for about a minute.
Okay. And why do we reheat it?
Well, you want to reheat. We want to reheat it because we're going to add the capers. We're going to add lemon juice to it, and you don't want to do that cold. So that's about ready to go. So we're going to pour that. You're going to see how thick that is.
Great texture on that sauce.
Yeah, beautiful texture.
This is a pretty classic sauce we're making.
Nothing fancy here. This is, maybe a few tricks, just in the restaurant, because it's so busy and you're serving so many people. You don't really want your sauce to break in the middle of service. So the xanthan gum, it's the perfect aid to that. And sometimes we would even put this in when we served it, we put it in the ISI. And that, prolonged the life of the sauce. Right. We're going to bring this up to a simmer right now. I mean, you could even boil this and it won't break, but you don't want to do that, obviously. I even know it's doing that right now. Okay. And then we just add lemon juice. We're going to add some parsley. And we're going to add some capers.
I love capers, but it's one of those things that I never use in the kitchen. But like when I'm outside, I'm like, ooh, capers, right?
Yes.
I'm never like, let me make anything with capers in my own house. But I love them. They're delicious.
All right. Now our sauce is ready. I'm going to just turn that down. And we're going to bring out our roulade, and we're going to sear that up, and we're going to put this dish together.
Okay. Okay, and we're back, and we have our roulade ready to go. We're about to cook and finish off this dish and show you how beautiful it is. But before we do that, I want to take a minute to talk about this week's ingredient highlight, which will be the xanthan gum. So xanthan gum, I will say, is one of the most mainstream of the Modernist ingredients. You can find all kinds of it, even in grocery stores these days. And xanthan is a powerful, powerful thickener where typically you're using about 0.1 to 0.5% of whatever it is that you're thickening. Yeah. So that's like, if you're thinking in volumes, like an eighth of a teaspoon to a pint of liquid, just about, right?
Yeah, just about.
Yeah, which is a tiny, tiny amount for a really powerful thickening effect in sauces, in juices, in milks, in ice creams. I mean, this is a product that has, I would say, so much versatility. Check out modernistpantry.com, link in the description below, and you can see our xanthan as well as all the different recipes, including today's caper butter sauce that features xanthan gum. Back to you, Roman.
All right, we are ready to go here. I have my pan on, very hot. Have our roulade right here, ready to go, nice and sealed, looks beautiful. I have a little bit of salt, so I'm gonna season that nicely. We'll just roll that on there like that, like so. Makes it easy. A little bit of oil in our pan, vegetable oil, and we will start to sear. You want to definitely make sure that you're cooking this through. Veal needs to be cooked all the way through, so you definitely want to make sure you. It's very thin, so it should cook very easily. It's about 6 to 7 minutes, medium to high heat.
Okay. And one of the most interesting things about this particular recipe, which I didn't get until we kind of started getting deeper into it, was that the tuna on the inside is actually not cooked at all.
No, it's going to be raw.
Yeah, which I think is one of the biggest differentiators between your version and all the other
every other version that I've seen,
Okay, so it's got this very cool, sashimi aspect to it.
Correct.
So it's kind of straddling those lines. So I guess one question for people who might be watching is, how do you know that the veal is done but you haven't started cooking through into the tuna?
Well, I've pretty much trial and error.
Okay.
Not that much error. I am I am a professional chef, by the way. But and I've cooked veal before.
Okay.
But a veal pounded out, it's about a quarter of an inch thick. Takes about 6-7 minutes. If you're worried about it, go 8, go 10, do whatever you want actually.
Right.
But about 6 or 7 minutes on each side will get that veal cooked all the way through. It might start to get into the tuna cooking a little bit, but there'll be a really nice area of the tuna that's just raw.
Okay.
So some of the outside of the tuna will be cooked, but the inside will be raw, and that's what we're going for here.
Okay. Do you mean 6 to 7 minutes total, or on each side?
On each side. On each side.
Okay. So half an hour to cook this?
Maybe 2 to 3
Okay.
minutes.
Okay, I was like, I know that you're not searing that for half an hour.
No, actually no. It is actually 6 to 7 minutes for the
Okay.
entire
That
pot.
makes more sense. I was like, there's no way. Okay.
All right, so as you can see, you got a nice little bit of color here, and we're gonna do the same all the way through. We're just gonna go all the way around. We just keep turning it. And at the restaurant, if we did something like this, I would baste it in butter, but because that process will cook the protein very quickly, and I don't want to cook the tuna too much.
Okay.
So I'm not going to do that. But
Okay.
but feel free to use whatever method you like. What you want to do is you just want to get a nice sear on that veal, and you want to make sure that it's going to be cooked all the way through into the tuna.
Yeah, so it might be kind of cool if people want to put a different protein into it. They can always maybe sous vide the whole thing to get the whole thing cooked up and then just sear the outside.
Exactly.
Okay, so you could do that if instead of the tuna, you want to do...
Yeah, if you don't want the tuna to be raw,
Right.
then I would totally sous vide this. But because I'm looking for a specific temperature for the tuna, that's why we're using this method.
Yeah, so just let your imaginations go wild.
All right, look at that. Okay, so we have our roulade seared nicely browned here. We're gonna cut into it. We have our sauce ready to go. We're gonna plate it up really nicely, and we're gonna see what we got here.
Okay.
All right, let's.
Smells amazing,
see
by
that.
the way.
Oh, look at that. That's beautiful. And
Ooh.
as you can see, just like I said, all the way to the tuna, just a little bit outside of the tuna was cooked. You can see that.
Yeah.
So it's very important to make sure that you do cook that veal all the way through. And a couple of pieces here. That's a nice one. That looks good.
Your roulades are always like so round and
That's
not
like
lumpy.
that is from years of making
Okay.
roulades. Years of making roulades. It's actually one of my favorite things to do is to make a roulade.
Okay.
All right, so really nice, came out really good. I have some sauce heated here. So we're just gonna add a little bit of this.
I want this with like a little bit of asparagus.
Oh, that would be really nice actually. All right, there you have it. There you have it.
All right, you want to do the honors and
Yeah.
cut us a couple pieces?
All right,
Okay.
let's do it. You want a bigger piece, smaller piece?
I'll take a smaller piece because then otherwise there's like 15 seconds of me just chewing like nom 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 nom.
All right, I'll take the bigger piece.
I don't think we
of
need
the
that.
two.
Okay.
All right, let's have a little
Hands
sauce.
off the table, Roman.
I'm sorry, I apologize. I apologize.
All right,
Okay,
ready?
let's go. Right? Right?
That's really good.
Classic.
The tuna and the veal, both super delicate. The tuna is like almost just melting away.
Yep. You do get, it is significant, the different flavors of both. You can actually get both. You get the rawness of the tuna, but then the cooked veal kind of play off each other.
Yeah, and then there's like the rich buttery sauce
Yep.
with the hang of
And-
the lemon and
the
the caper.
capers. Yeah.
It's a very, very complex bite. Like you get it and you're just like, whoa, there's a lot happening in my mouth right now.
Yep.
And you kind of want to just take your time to savor it and like figure it out. It's very enjoyable, very much like a memorable dish. If you are a chef at a restaurant,
Yeah.
great addition to stand out and like, yeah.
And I've never seen anything like this, to say that. You guys in the comments, you tell me if you've ever seen anything like this. I'll concede, but I have never seen Vitello Tonnato in this fashion.
Yeah, super good. The warm sauce, I would also say, makes it. I think
the
warm sauce.
cape. It's a classic dish. Normally, when it is made, regardless of the different techniques that it's made, these are the flavors: tuna, veal, capers,
Yeah.
lemon, butter.
Really
Always.
good. Yeah, really, really good. Get the recipe and the links in the description below. Let us know what you think. And until next week, from here in the Modernist Pantry Test Kitchen, I'm Janie,
And I'm Roman.
and we transform
food.